Hello everyone, this is Kevin Manch, and this is Kevs Productions. And in today's topic, I am going to discuss, theories. And in theories in general, these theories will be based on Pokemon. And my theories on Pokemon will be based on by the origin on Pokeballs and the game lore to the Pokemon origins themselves of how it began to the game lore that it is today. So let's get into it. Alright, so we all know that the games they came from the Game Boy Advance, the 3DS, and now the Nintendo Switch. The games have been evolving and changing. And it's changing for the better. I love how the games are progressing. And to start off from the beginning, you're going to hear some interesting facts about how the games go as they are in a specific order that they're supposed to go to. So you may think that at the start, it is at the start of when it began, but there may be some tweaking a little bit of how the games are really. According to game lore, we start off with Pokemon Red, Pokemon Yellow, and Pokemon Blue. But is that the real start? No, not really. Because this is from anime to game lore of how it did start. Of how it did start. Well, this is an interesting fact. Remember the movie Pokemon Lucario and the Mystery of Mew? I have a theory on that one. In the beginning, after the credits, the narrator explained that the past happened before Pokeballs were even invented. So, if the Pokeballs were not invented then, when did the Pokeballs start? Well, let's get into that later. So we all know that throughout the past, there was a war. A war that there were two sides attacking each other. One was red, and the other was a different color. I kind of forgot that color, but I think it's green. Anywho. During that war, we understand that there was Sir Aaron and his partner in crime, Lucario, were trying to solve the problem to Sir Aaron. He went to the Tree of Beginning. And after he went to the Tree of Beginning, turns out Sir Aaron sacrificed himself to make sure that the Pokemon were able to set aside their conflicts, and then they went off somewhere to an unknown, well, wherever they did went off to. So where did they go? That would be the question until I get to this point. So we understand that before the invention of the Pokeball, what if these Pokemon that were part of the war ended up what is to be the ancestral region of Sinnoh, Hisui? Well, that is when the Pokeballs were starting to be invented. People were crafting Pokeballs. So now we understand a little something. That Pokemon Lucario and the Mystery of Mew happened before Legends Arceus begins. So, it starts off with Lucario and the Mystery of Mew past to Legends Arceus. I'm getting your brain twisted already. So, now since we understand what Legends Arceus is, after that, then we have I'm okay. Then we have Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, and Pokemon Yellow. Then Pokemon Gold and Pokemon Silver and Pokemon Crystal. And since we understand that Gen 3 is technically Hoenn, there are actually interesting games to discuss. Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald, I'm not counting them because of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, since during that time, I'm not putting Hoenn, just because it was Gen 3 after Johto, I'm not putting Hoenn next to Johto or Sinnoh. Now this is where the brain gets twisted up. Because in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Mega Evolution happens in the game. And when does Mega Evolution begin? Well, Mega Evolution begins in the Kalos region. And since Kalos happened to be Gen 6, that is where I'm going to put the Hoenn region of where it is today. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire may be placed next to X and Y. But there may be something else that you don't know just yet. So with that out, after that, then we have Sinnoh. And I have another theory on Sinnoh. My theory on Sinnoh and on Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, here's a brain teaser for you. In Emerald, Juan is the gym leader for the Zertopolis gym. However, in Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Pearl, Wallace is the champion. However, in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Steven Stone is the champion. So here's my theory on that. What if Steven Stone had beaten the former champ, Wallace? So if that be the case, if I make a TV show on that, then this is my theory on how that became in game lore. So I bet Steven Stone faced the Pokemon League and then faced the champion, Wallace. When he did, he is crowned the new champion. And since Steven Stone became the new champ after defeating Wallace, Wallace must have defeated Juan in the Sutopolis gym. And I think Juan sees excellence in Wallace, and Wallace must have replaced him in the events of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire to understand the concept of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So, Juan is no longer the gym leader in Sutopolis, and I will want to make a TV show on that. Of the beginning, when Steven Stone became champion, leading to Wallace becoming the Sutopolis gym leader. And after that, now we understand of what happened in the Diamond and Pearl, of how the events in the Hoenn region came to be during the time when Wallace used to be champion. So since you understand that, now we get into the Unova region. And that might lead to the same thing with Alder being the champion, to Iris taking on the Pokemon League, defeating Alder. So that'll lead to Black and White, Black version 2 and White version 2 of what Iris is today, now champion. In the anime to game lore. So now we understand the concept of Diamond and Pearl, Black and White, Black version 2, White version 2. And after the Unova region, now we come to Kalos, Pokemon X and Pokemon Y. And here's where this gets a little funny. I did say I would put Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire there, right after X and Y. However, another brain teaser. In Kalos, there is another war. And there is an ultimate weapon. And that ultimate weapon used its power to go straight up into space and to somewhere else. But where is that somewhere else? Well, here's that. Thanks to the Not So Ace Trainer, the Not So Ace Trainer YouTube channel, that somewhere else happens to be the birth of the Paldea region. So I'm saying the events of what now we understand that Paldea is the Gen 9 that we are about to be introduced. Scarlet and Violet origins must happen during the time of the Ultimate Weapon, when the Ultimate Weapon's power was transferring to somewhere else. So that means when I'm putting Omega Ruby in Alpha Sapphire, it will be like Kalos, Paldea, then Hoenn. So, there you have it. Now you understand the concept of how it did begin. But what about Gen 7 and Gen 8? Well, Gen 7 happens to be Alola, Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon. Then after that, we are introduced to Sword and Shield. So Game Freak, what are you doing? And by meaning that, what would be after the events of Sword and Shield? I get that you introduced Gen 9, but Gen 9 happened to give birth because of Gen 6, and then Gen 3. So, now you want to understand what I'm talking about. We have Lucario and the Mystery of Mew's past, 2, Legends Arceus, then Red, Yellow, and Blue, Gold, Crystal, and Silver, Diamond and Pearl, Black, White, Black version 2, White version 2, X, Y, Scarlet and Violet, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and Sword and Shield. So if Game Freak has the idea of where I'm getting at, we need the events of a game that did happen after the events of Sword and Shield. No offense, you do make great games. Yes, I love them. Keep up making new games for the Switch and the 3DS. And I hope some point of what is left of this year of what the internet said of when Let's Go JoJo would finally be out. We have September, October, and November left. And if Let's Go 2, aka Let's Go JoJo, comes out with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl of this year, since I know Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl already happened, Let's Go JoJo must happen some point. Some of you may think that I'm speculating when Let's Go JoJo would be out and it's not coming out soon. It should be. Disappointing fans of the game of Let's Go JoJo. So, just please, for the fans, do it for me, do it for the fans, for Let's Go JoJo. And that's the theory I have. The next theory will be on the Pokeballs. Kevin out.